You're listening to the N2K Space Network.
Ransomware, supply chain attacks, and zero-day exploits can strike without warning, leaving your business's sensitive data and digital assets vulnerable. But imagine a world where your cybersecurity strategy could prevent these threats. That's the power of the ThreatLocker Zero Trust Endpoint Protection Platform. Robust cybersecurity is a non-negotiable to safeguard organizations from cyber attacks. ThreatLocker implements a proactive, deny-by-default approach to cybersecurity, blocking every action, process, and user unless specifically authorized by your team. This least privilege methodology mitigates the exploitation of trusted applications and ensures protection for your organization 24/7, 365. IT professionals are empowered by ThreatLocker application allow listing, ring fencing, network control, and EDR solutions, enhancing their cybersecurity posture and streamlining internal IT and security operations. To learn more about how ThreatLocker can help mitigate unknown threats in your digital environment and align your organization with respected compliance frameworks, visit threatlocker.com.
Today is January 9th, 2025. I'm Maria Varmazis, and this is T-Minus.
T-Minus 20 seconds to LOS speed rest. Go for deploy. Roger roll.
U.S. Space Force's X-37B spaceplane surpasses 1 year in orbit.
4.
ISS National Lab releases up to $650,000 in funding for tech advancement using the orbiting lab.
3.
ESA releases images of BepiColombo's Mercury flyby.
2.
Maxar has been awarded a $14 million contract by the Netherlands Ministry of Defense.
1.
And NASA has selected Columbus Technologies to provide electrical and electronic engineering support to the agency's Goddard Space Flight Center worth $1.1 billion. And T-Minus Space is on the road later this month, and we're heading to Florida for Space Week. Find out what we're planning for SpaceCom and how you can join us later in the show. T-Minus producer Alice Carruth will be joining me to share her thoughts on the big three events happening during Space Week from January 27th through the 30th. Happy Thursday, everybody. We're kicking off today's Intel briefing with a roundup of news from NASA, starting with the news that Columbus Technologies and Services has been selected to provide electrical and electronic engineering support to the agency's Goddard Space Flight Center. The indefinite delivery, indefinite quantity contract has a maximum estimated value of $1.1 billion, and the base period of performance begins on April 9th and runs for 5 years. The U.S. Space Agency also signed a memorandum of understanding with the Florida University Space Research Consortium. The partnership aims to aid NASA research and development to assist with missions and contribute to NASA's Moon to Mars exploration approach. The creation of the consortium was the result of more than a year of efforts by leaders at Kennedy, the University of Florida, the University of Central Florida, and Embry-Riddle Aeronautical University. The agreement serves as the official start to partnering activities, with Florida now the only state with a university consortium affiliated with one of NASA's centers. And Florida's Governor Ron DeSantis joined members of the consortium and NASA at the signing ceremony. The governor used the opportunity to emphasize how Florida is primed to lead the nation in developing a blueprint for state space partnerships in the future. He also mentioned that there is an interest in moving the headquarters of NASA to Kennedy Space Center and that he is supportive of that move. Well, we'll see if that is part of the incoming administration's initiatives in the coming months. MaxarIntelligence has been awarded a €13.6 million or $14.4 million framework contract by the Netherlands Ministry of Defense. The contract provides a 4-year subscription to Maxar Geospatial Platform Pro and associated geospatial products and solutions. In addition, Maxar will help the Netherlands Defense Geographic Agency and its hundreds of users enrich the agency's geospatial foundational data and derivative product portfolio in support of its mapping, intelligence, and operational support missions. It is admittedly a little awkward to include a story about images in an audio-only podcast, but honestly, we couldn't miss the chance to celebrate ESA's newly released images of Mercury, so you really should go and check them out right now by following the link in our show notes if you haven't seen them yet. The pictures were captured earlier this week when the ESA-JAXA BepiColombo mission flew past Mercury for the 6th time. And while it was doing that, the spacecraft successfully completed the final gravity assist maneuver needed to steer it into orbit around the planet in late 2026. The spacecraft flew just a few hundred kilometers above the planet's North Pole, and it took some photos while it was doing that. And the close-up images that have been shared expose possibly icy craters whose floors are in permanent shadow and its vast sunlit northern plains. It is really quite beautiful. Don't miss the photos. The International Space Station National Laboratory is soliciting flight concepts for technology advancement that uses the space-based environment of the orbiting lab. The solicitation, called Technology Advancement and Applied Research Leveraging the ISS National Lab, is open to a broad range of technology areas, including chemical and material synthesis in space, translational medicine, in-space edge computing, and in-space servicing, assembly, and manufacturing. It also encompasses the application of space station remote sensing data to improve geospatial analytics for commercial use. Multiple projects are expected to be awarded through this research announcement, with up to $650,000 in total funding available. More details, if you're interested, can be found by following the link in our show notes. And the U.S. Space Force's X-37B orbital test vehicle, aka the spaceplane, has surpassed 1 year in orbit. The secretive spaceplane launched in December 2023 and has been in a highly elliptical high Earth orbit since. The vehicle has performed aerobrake maneuvers to alter its orbit around the Earth and has released a service module during its mission, but beyond that, little is known about the test vehicle. It is the secretive spaceplane after all. It is also unknown when the vehicle plans to return to Earth. That concludes our Intel briefing for this Thursday. Head to the selected reading section of our show notes to find links to all the stories mentioned. And today we've included 3 extra for you. One from Chinese media about how the nation is likely to beat the U.S. in the race to retrieve samples from Mars. Another's on Rocket Lab's completion of a preliminary design review for the Space Development Agency's Tranche 2 Transport Layer Beta program. And a third story from Redwire on their camera technology, which will be heading to the moon on board Firefly Aerospace's Blue Ghost lunar lander later this month. Hey T- crew, if your business is looking to grow your voice in the industry, expand the reach of your thought leadership, or recruit talent, T- can help. We'd love to hear from you. Send us an email at space@n2k.com or send us a note through our website so we can connect about building a program to meet your goals.
And now, a message from our sponsor, Zscaler, the leader in cloud security. Enterprises have spent billions of dollars on firewalls and VPNs, yet breaches continue to rise by an 18% year-over-year increase in ransomware attacks and a $75 million record payout in 2024. These traditional security tools expand your attack surface with public-facing IPs that are exploited by bad actors more easily than ever with AI tools. It's time to rethink your security. Zscaler Zero Trust plus AI stops attackers by hiding your attack surface, making apps and IPs invisible, eliminating lateral movement, connecting users only to specific apps, not the entire network, continuously verifying every request based on identity and context, simplifying security management with AI-powered automation, and detecting threats using AI to analyze over 500 billion daily transactions. Hackers can't attack what they can't see. Protect your organization with Zscaler Zero Trust and AI. Learn more at zscaler.com/security.
T-Minus Space Daily Podcast will be at SpaceCom later this month, and T-Minus producer Alice Carruth and I wanted to share a little bit about what you can expect if you're going to join us in Orlando. We have T-Minus producer Alice Carruth here with me in the studio to talk about the event that's coming up at the end of January that I know we're both very excited about. So without further ado, Alice, end of this month, we're going to be in Florida with our coworker, Liz Stokes, who's also going to be with us. The three of us will be there to do what exactly?
So it's Space Week in Florida, and that's actually 3 different events that we're going to be covering. So Liz and I are going to be at the Global Spaceport Alliance conference on the Monday. That's literally, as it says on the sticker, all of the global spaceports gather together once a year to talk through things like policy, to talk about what works, what doesn't work from each other, and really start to set the foundations of what's going to be the future infrastructure of space transportation and point-to-point. This year's going to be based about spaceports as an economic powerhouse. And I know you're going to be speaking to Dr. George Neild next week, who's the chairman of the Global Spaceport Alliance. So he'll be telling us more about that. So we're going to be there just to kind of chat to people, talk about what's going on these spaceports. Hopefully we've got a couple of announcements that are coming out that day that we'll be able to report on as well for you. You're obviously going to be joining us then Monday evening. And on Tuesday, we've got Space Mobility. Now, this is a really growing conference as part of the Space Week.
What do we mean by space mobility? Just real quick, because I don't know exactly what we mean by that.
Yeah, it's about Space Force and meeting up with industry and academia. I know you spoke to Tony Brown. They're talking about the acquisition panel that's going on this week. So they are really focusing on how to sort of build those bridges between what's going on at Space Force and what they need from the commercial sector and academia as well to sort of help support the military. So it's very Space Force oriented. There's obviously a few come in from Air Force as well, but they're talking about, maybe Link 16, I'm sure, is going to be a big topic this year, but also, again, those acquisitions that are going to be coming up in the next year. And on Tuesday, they're going to be opening up the convention center as well for SpaceCom, which is the 3rd event of the week, which you and I get to do a whole live podcast during, which we're really excited about. So we're going to be recording in the convention center space from Tuesday at noon all the way through to Thursday at 3:00. So if people are interested, come down, see what we do, and come speak to us. We'd love to be able to chat to people that listen to our show.
Yeah, we love seeing people. We love meeting listeners. It's always fun. Come and get your photo with us if you want, I suppose. But it's really fun to see how the podcast sausage is made for a lot of folks. And it's really fun to do interviews on the floor. I love it. That's probably my favorite part of this gig is when I can do this face-to-face with people in person at events. I think the energy is so fantastic. Everybody's feeling really good. We're full of really cool ideas. And it's just scintillating. I love it. So it is magic. So come on by and see us. But if you want to be interviewed for the show, don't wait. Act now.
Yeah. So we're already getting people reach out to us and say, can we book interviews during the conference? And of course, we've said yes. So if you're interested in getting an interview while you're at SpaceCom, Space Mobility, or GSA, please email me and I'll make sure you get onto the calendar. So you can email me straight away at space@n2k.com. Come straight to both Maria and I. And same when it comes to cybersecurity as well, because Liz, who's our colleague from the Cyberwire, is going to be there. We're going to make sure we get lots of national security and cybersecurity topics covered as well, because, working with the Space Force, all of those areas really start to intertwine. So we know that there's going to be people across the whole spectrum there, and N2K is really excited to be partnering on this one.
Yes. Please give me a chance to nerd out about cybersecurity. I want to put that old hat back on. I enjoy it so much. So let's do it, everybody. Don't leave it to the last minute. Book with us earlier rather than later so we can fit you in our schedule. So it's going to be fun.
Yeah, and come on by the booth as well. We are on the floor. We're right in amongst, I think that they've put us in amongst all of the Space Force folks, which is going to be quite exciting to have all that activity going on around us. So we're booth 1217. So I know that they've got a really cool app where you can sort of scan through what's going on the convention center floor. Go look for 1217, come find N2K T-minus.
1217, that's the one. All right. And maybe we'll do giveaways or anything. Are we going to do anything like that?
We're going to have some stickers. Yeah, we'll have some stickers. I think we're going to have some pins. We'll see what else we can rustle up. We might see if we can find some poker chips again, because I know they went down really well at
Those
Space
are
Symposium.
popular. Yeah.
They were a lot of fun. And, come by and give us ideas as well. What is it you want to hear on the show? Because I love finding out from that. I know we do a call to action every day on the show, but we rarely get people actually reaching out to us saying, this is what I want to hear. This is what I'd love to be able to find out. A big thank you to Isaac, who does send us a lot of great ideas.
Yes, thank you, Isaac.
Yeah, we do get some great ones come through. But if you've got any ideas, or you think, I really would love to hear what's going on with this organization or that, please email us, come by and chat to us. We'd love to be able to hear from our people that listen to us. And hopefully we really have got our fingers crossed there's going to be a launch on the schedule while we're in Florida, because Maria, you've never seen a launch, have you?
I have not. I've only been to Florida once in my life, and it was to Miami. So I've never even been to the Orlando area in my life. So this is going to be a lot of firsts for me this month. It's like the first part, a lot of things.
The problem when you go to a conference is you don't get to see too much. But we're going to be on that International Drive area in Orlando. This is my third time at the conference. In fact, this was the conference that I was at when I met Brandon Karff, who said to me, I'm recruiting for a producer for a podcast on space. Would you be interested in applying? So
I know,
I'm excited. This is my first time back going to this one and saying, hey, guys, this is where I was recruited.
I remember him telling me, I just met the perfect producer for the show, and it was you. So yes, it was a magical time. I was not at the conference, but I was hearing about it remotely, and it was so I've never been. This will be my first time, so you're gonna have to show me around, show me all the good stuff. I don't know if there's a favorite restaurant, like the one at Space Foundation does the bee.
Yeah, no, there's no bees there. But there are some great restaurants. It's a downtown Orlando touristy area, so there's lots of places for us to go to. And there's going to be lots of luncheons and events going on at the conference. So I'd love to get some invites to those. If anybody's got an event going on during SpaceCom and they want us to come and cover it and chat to you, please send us an email again at space@n2k.com. We'd love to be able to join you, find out what's happening with your new launches of products and what we've got to expect in 2025, because I really think it's going to be an interesting year this year in space, particularly with the new transition to a new administration. Always shakes things up with NASA. You never know what's going to happen. And you and I know, are particularly interested in one of the panelists this year, Dr. Sian Proctor, who worked with, obviously, Jared Isaacman. So we are hoping to speak to Sian Proctor while we're there. To see what's going on with her and all the developments since she went on Inspiration 4. I mean, she is an inspiration, so she's going to be a great person, hopefully, to chat to.
She is.
Yes.
Dr. Proctor, we would love to speak to you. Putting that out into the universe. We would love to interview you for T-Minus. Please, please, please. It'd be great. I'm looking forward to it immensely.
Yeah, I was going to say, I'm encouraging everybody, if you've not signed up for SpaceCom, you want to come, go check it out. SpaceCom Expo, I think it is, if you Google it. And find out what's happening. Come and join us. Come say hi. We're really looking forward to being in Florida in just a couple of weeks.
12/17, that's us. I'll be right back. Welcome back. Skywatchers in the Southern Hemisphere, does our universe have a treat for you this month? The comet known as G3 Atlas will be making its closest and brightest pass by Earth in the coming week for a once in a 160,000-year flyby. Comet G3 Atlas will be the brightest comet seen from Earth in nearly 20 years. Southern Hemisphere viewers, I'm a bit jealous, I won't lie. And for those of us in the north that have thus far not been able to see the comet due to its position low on the southeastern horizon and it being perpetually obscured by the glow of bright morning twilight, we may actually catch a glimpse of it as it makes its way around the sun, which will bring it curving just far enough north. But don't count your lucky stars just yet. Some astronomers are saying that the comet has an only 50-50 chance of surviving its brush with the sun, as some have seen it display some early signs of disintegration. Sad face. Either way, astronomers across the globe are watching the comet with great interest and say that it is expected to reach perihelion on January 13th at 10:17 Universal Time at a distance just shy of a mere 9 million miles from the sun. Later that same day, it will come closest to Earth at a distance of 87.1 million miles. So keep your eyes to the skies and let us know if you managed to see this once-in-a-great-lifetime visitor. That's it for T-Minus for January 9th, 2025, brought to you by N2K Cyberwire. For additional resources from today's report, check out our show notes at space.n2k.com. We're privileged that N2K and podcasts like T-Minus are part of the daily routine of many of the most influential leaders and operators in the public and private sector, from the Fortune 500 to many of the world's preeminent intelligence and law enforcement agencies. This episode was produced by Alice Carruth. Our associate producer is Liz Stokes. We're mixed by Elliot Peltzman and Trey Hester, with original music by Elliot Peltzman. Our executive producer is Jennifer Iben. Our executive editor is Brandon Karpf. Simone Petrella is our president, Peter Kilpie is our publisher, and I'm your host, Maria Varmazes. Thanks for listening. We'll see you tomorrow.